7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
All right, I made it to DC. My voice is still a little hoarse from Cardinals fantasy camp. This week, we're going to be talking about diet, nutrition, and supplements. What have I been doing over the last few months to really try to improve my overall health and well-being? Today, I've got an all-day meeting on some very exciting technology stuff that I'd love to tell you more about, but, you know, my competitors do watch this. We're going to be recording a couple of podcasts this week. If you're into wonky international tax stuff, you should check out my podcast, Cross-Border Tax Talks. Let's get this week going, shall we? Future podcast studio. It's not really a studio, it's an old conference room, but come on. Westminster Studios isn't really a studio either. This is the existing podcast studio. This is actually Jeff Jacoby's office. We'll be back here in a little bit.
Soon, too, right?
Look, he's got to deal with all these poor microphones.
Okay.
I'm with Lisette Townfest. Where's it? There's Jeff Jacoby. We're recording our next edition of Cross-Border Tax Talks, talking all things Mexico tax. Lisette, are you excited?
I am very excited.
All right, so check us out wherever you get your podcast. All right, let's get going. All right. The first thing that I wanted to talk about with respect to diet and eating is my vegetarianism. I became a vegetarian about 3.5 years ago, well before I started my health and lifestyle plan. So the reason I became a vegetarian was not for health reasons, but for moral and ethical reasons. We don't get into these types of things in the Doug McConey vlog. I still do dairy and eggs, and as a vegetarian, you need to be very mindful. We'll wait for her to finish. As a vegetarian, you need to be very mindful, particularly of getting your protein. My primary sources of protein are eggs, I'll do some cheese, a lot of nuts. All right, I gotta go catch my flight. All right, I'm back in Westminster Studios. I just did one of my high-intensity interval training. I don't know what it's called. But Debbie put the hurt on me. I've gotten a bunch of questions on what the type of intermittent fasting that I'm doing. I generally try to do 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window. So much out there on YouTube about intermittent fasting, I'm not gonna go through it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is supplements. I'm taking a series of... So, before you figure out what's the right supplements for you, go to your doctor, get your blood work done, eliminate bad stuff for several months, and then see where your blood work is. I've worked with my doctor, and we have a mix of, I'm taking vitamin B12. B12 I think is relatively common for vegetarians. I'm taking vitamin D. D3 is relatively common for people like myself who don't spend enough time outdoors. And then I'm taking a multivitamin for men. Men multivitamin. All right, so those are the supplements. The other thing that I've been doing for my diet, really trying to limit the amount of refined sugar and refined carbohydrates. So I am trying to make sure that I indulge myself every day with some type of sweet. And it's interesting is since I've cut down the sugars, the dark chocolate tastes even better to me. Something to make sure that I don't feel like I'm depriving myself as I'm really focusing on what I'm eating. Oh, so it's time for a, hold on. A McConey McHealth update. I have so much time to edit this stuff. This is as good as I can do. We've made some progress, ladies and gentlemen. Week 4, I took off, it was 177.8 pounds, so almost 4 pounds in 2 weeks. And from everything I've read, I think 2 pounds a week is probably about as much as is sustainable in what you want to do. So the BMI has moved, ladies and gentlemen, to 24.7 from 25.6. I think I'm technically now out of the obese range. Body fat, I think I might stop measuring because I've seen some comments and I've done some reading that apparently this is really, really hard to measure. We're not body fat. Continue to try to sleep 8 hours. Remember how important that is from season 2. Let me know how you think about the weights and check-in and stuff. It's kind of fun, and I really feel like you guys are holding me more accountable than I could have ever held myself. Thanks for all your support, and stay tuned next week for another exciting edition of the Doug McConey Vlog.